Welcome to Return to Athens. Today, how these US canoeists are powering their way to the Olympics. We profile two Argentines, both hoping to stand on the podium. And Hisham El Garouj, can he finally grab that elusive gold medal? All that and more as we return to Athens. Firstly, the training site for the US Olympic slalom canoe team may be one of the more unique training venues for Athens-bound Olympians. It started when a group of observant whitewater canoeists along the Potomac River spotted this water spillway more than 2 decades ago and approached the owners, the Morant Corporation, about modifying the cooling discharge for use in competition. In an act of cooperation between the athletes and the owners of the power station, the outflow of cooling water from the plant provides roaring rapids for an artificial whitewater course that former gold medalist Joe Jacoby and his partner Matt Taylor now train in.
Really, the beginnings of this course, it is a discharge canal for the Morant power generating plant on the Potomac River, and they discharge the water down this canal. So the canal has been here for a long time. And then about 13 years ago, the local club here in the Washington, D.C. area put these gumdrop size shaped rocks in the water to really channelize the water to give it really good character and really put the water down the course in ways that elite whitewater slalom athletes could use it to improve their training.
So were you trying to keep it going out higher?
Jacoby became America's first ever whitewater slalom Olympic gold medalist at the 1992 Games in Barcelona. His coach, Slovenian-born Silvan Povaraj, oversees each training day, using a video camera to tape each run for later examination.
Yeah, I think we are lucky here in this area to have this facility here. And it was built about 14 years ago, and the power plant helped a lot, and the local athletes at that time, they found this channel out and they put together all the resources that they had to build it up, and it's a great training place now.
The combining of industry and the needs of Olympic athletes has not been a short-lived project. The initial sighting of the potential canoe slalom course dates back 30 years. However, persistence paid off, with the initial group lobbying the owners to do something with the wastewater.
It mainly came from paddlers who had been roaming around the main Potomac, and they saw, this is back in the 70s, I believe, they saw an outflow of whitewater here, but it was just a step rapid. And the reason they built this was to disperse heat from the power plant. So going down the rapids, it dispersed heat. But they didn't have features like the dumplings, the concrete rocks that they built, or the wing dam. And the local paddling club raised a lot of money to build those and then implement them and build the fence and make it a training site. And now we actually have races here as well.
Initially, the water is taken from the Potomac, passed over turbines at the power plant, warmed in the process, and then shot back into the river via what was originally a discharge canal. A local architect designed concrete boulders and had them hoisted into the canal, thus creating the rapids. With the addition of suspended gates, the once useless canal has now been transformed into a first-class training facility. The course's water source also provides it with a unique characteristic that allows athletes to train there year-round: heated water. While the water temperature cannot rise above certain environmental standards, it gives athletes a welcome place to train, even in the dead of winter.
The water is 100% safe for skilled paddlers, and I would say that the water quality is improving as it is in most urban areas, but I wouldn't drink the water.
And while it's all part of training, these two won't roll over when it comes to racing for the gold. Both the canoe and kayak slalom racing competition will be held in the Helonico Olympic Complex over 4 competition days from the 17th until the 20th of August. Tickets for the full day's competition are very reasonable, with prices starting at just €10. Rabina Mukamaya, a shy, rosy-cheeked 17-year-old, says she has more than the weight of a nation's hopes on her shoulders when she takes to the track in August because Rabina is from Afghanistan. Afghanistan is now emerging from a quarter of a century of war, which saw the fundamentalist regime of the Taliban take over, repressing its people and in particular the women under the hardline Islamic ways.
I've always been interested in sport, ever since I was just a child. My family has been really supportive. But as far as our society is concerned, because we've been through like 25 years of war, we've not had women in sports. But that doesn't bother me. I do what I want to do.
The 100-metre runner is working hard, but her coach is realistic about her chances.
The fact is she runs 100 metres in 15 seconds. The record for the 100 is around 10. And even if she really tries, the most she'll ever get is 11 or 12 seconds. The really important thing is she'll represent Afghanistan.
Simply having female athletes competing in Athens is a remarkable turnaround for a country where, as recently as 2001, girls were denied education and forced to wear the heavy burqa veil.
Each time I come out here to practice and to put all the work I do into training, the only thing that I singularly think about is trying to achieve something for my country.
The senior advisor to the Afghan National Olympic Committee believes Rabina's achievements will help others.
There is progress and there is hope. Especially for the girls, of course, they want to demonstrate that they're not subject to the same sort of problems as they were earlier, and that they want to reclaim a role in society as well.
Rabina's other task is to be a trendsetter, hoping that competing at the Games will encourage other girls.
Every girl in the whole of Afghanistan should come forward and join in on any sport they want to. And who knows, they may someday be successful and end up doing what I'm doing.
In Athens, Rabina will face athletes who have been training for years. She started just 3 months ago. More athletes to watch, and at 26 years of age, Santiago Fernandez has been rowing for more than half his life. After just missing out on a medal at the 2001 World Cup in Australia and with a 7th place finish at the World Championships in Spain 2 years ago, the Argentine rower now has his sights firmly fixed on an Olympic gold medal in single sculls. History points to that goal being achievable. Between 1992 and 2001, Fernandez took 8 first places and 2 seconds in South American Championships.
What makes me think that I'll do well at these Olympic Games is that it's based on the past 3 World Championships. I was very close to the mark, just less than 4 or 5 seconds away, and that's all out of 7 minutes. It's not very much, but above all, I want to compete in these games and progress to gold.
At the Games, there are several rowing events. In sculling, there are the single, the double and the quad sculls, with crews of 1, 2 or 4 athletes respectively, as well as a lightweight double event. In lightweight events, the average weight of a men's crew must not exceed 70 kilograms. For women, the average weight must not exceed 57. The other events for men are the sweepboard events, the pair, 4, lightweight 4 and the blue ribbon 8s. Another Argentine athlete with high hopes for Athens is weightlifter Dario Lechman, who at 31 will finally compete at an Olympics. He took home gold from last year's South American weightlifting championships with 145 kilograms in the snatch category and silver from the Pan American Games. Having missed out on Atlanta in '96 and Sydney in 2000, Lechman is finally on the verge of achieving his dream.
The first time I failed was because of inexperience, because I was too young. The second, because I didn't have optimum, good conditions. And this time I think I am better prepared psychologically. In terms of my maturity, I'm not as anxious and I'm better prepared from a sporting perspective.
Leckman will compete in both the snatch and the clean and jerk events for his weight division. In weightlifting, athletes only compete against others of roughly the same body weight. There are 8 recognised categories for men and 7 for women. To see Santiago compete, you'll need to book tickets to the Skegness Rowing and Canoeing Centre. Competition is held over 9 days from the 14th to the 22nd of August. In rowing, 14 separate boat classes compete, 8 sculling events in which 2 oars are used and 6 sweepboard events in which the rower uses 1 oar with both hands. To qualifying news, and 8 nations faced each other at the net, with only the overall winner and the best Asian team making it to the Games. On day 6, France, the number 4 ranked team in the world, were up against Japan, who were out of the running. The French clinching a tight first set, 25-23. The Japanese stormed back to level the match at 1 set all, when they claimed the second set, 25-21. The third set, again a seesawing affair. The lead changed hands several times before the set reached a thrilling finale with an incredibly long rally. Eventually, another powerful French spike deflected off a Japanese arm went out, handing France the third set, 25-18. However, that just seemed to spur the Japanese team on, and yet again, they stormed back to level the match. The fourth set, another closely contested affair before Takahiro Yamamoto produced a well-executed block to help the home side clinch the set, 25-21. The stage set for an exciting finale. Japan into an early lead before the French used all their experience to edge ahead in the final stages. They earned themselves match point at 14-12 before finishing off their Japanese opponents when a thumping shot from Felipe Barkasisek was deflected out. On day 7, France made it a clean sweep, defeating Algeria in straight sets. If you like volleyball, there are plenty of opportunities to catch a match or two at the Peace and Friendship Stadium in Athens. But you'd better hurry and book your tickets as seats are selling fast. The basic cost for a volleyball competition seat is €10, top price seats costing €200. China were aiming for a victory over Canada that would keep their slim hopes of reaching the Games alive. The two sides went into the game with an identical record of 4 wins and 2 defeats. Canada's hopes of qualifying from the group had been dashed because of France's impressive form, but China's belief in their ability to seal a berth in Athens was plain to see in the first set. Tang Miao led the way with a series of spikes and the occasional dink to unsettle the Canadian defences. Canada would struggle to put together a scoring run, but there was no such problems for China, who took the first set 25-22. China continued to press home their advantage in the second set, with Shen Kuiyong and Zheng Ziyang formidable at the net. Canada tried desperately to stay in the match, with Terence Martin scoring 10 points and Fred Winters adding another 7. But Canada's individuals no match for their opponent's team approach, China taking the second before easing to a straight sets victory. China finished the competition with the same number of points as Australia, who was beaten in straight sets by Iran, both finishing on 12. However, the Aussies will be joining France at the Games as their final points ratio was superior to that of China. Hicham El Guerrouj has been hard at training in the Atlas Mountains in Morocco as he intensifies his pursuit of the Olympic glory that has so far eluded him. The 29-year-old, who is set to compete in the 1500 and 5000 metres, has failed to stand atop the podium in 2 previous games.
They're extraordinary events, the 15 and the 5,000 metres. They're not only great events for me, but for all the other athletes that'll compete. You see, what's important is Athens is the place where the Games were born. I hope it is going to be an important event for me, and I hope that I have the power, the energy, the focus to run, win and compete at an Olympic Games.
If he succeeds in his double attempt, El Guerrouj will become the first athlete since Finland's Paavo Nurmi to win both races at the same Olympics. In Atlanta, the Moroccan fell in the 1500 while chasing eventual champion, compatriot Nuruddin Mocheli. In Sydney, he was beaten into second place by the then unknown Kenyan Noah Ngeni. His longtime coach believes that the frustration of 2 previous games can be compensated with a gold medal performance in Athens.
Oui, je suis sûr que la troisième sera la bonne parce que Hicham El Guerrouj.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be third time lucky because Hicham has achieved everything else. The only thing missing is an Olympic gold. I hope he will take his chance this time and that the Olympic title will be like the icing on the cake.
Comme ça, il va achever sa carrière avec beauté.
The training at 1,600 metres above sea level is part of 5 annual 3-week visits to the Ifrane Athletic Centre. El Guerrouj, world record holder for the mile since 1999, has lost only 3 out of 54 races over 1,500 metres or a mile, and now thinks the time has come to leave his mark on the Olympic stage. El Guerrouj is totally committed to his golden dream. His daily routine combines sprints at a track to improve speed and long-distance running. Even his marriage last September appears to take second place.
Maybe the difference between myself and other athletes is my training program. I am a human being who trains twice a day, who is concentrated on my goals. I'm very professional. I train like mad sometimes. Last year was very important for me, and I hope this one is going to be even better.
L'année dernière, c'est vraiment une année très importante. J'espère qu'Inch'Allah 2004, ça sera beaucoup mieux que l'année dernière. C'est ce que je peux dire.
When the demands of training eventually ease off, El Guerrouj will intensify his business studies at the university in Ifrane, where he lives as a student on campus. However, from now until August, he is totally focused on training as hard as he can to win gold.
Voilà, un grand merci. Et ceci, c'est pour ma petite fille.
For the moment, everything is all right, and I hope I won't have any problems in these games. I am motivated, I am 29 years of age, I'm very mature. I have a lot of experience in sporting terms, and I really hope that's going to help me.
Ce facteur va jouer vraiment pour moi.
Finally, his work on the track is complemented by daily long runs among the cedar trees of the Royal Forest. El Guerrouj is now positive that at the end of the road, an assault on both the 1,500 metres and the 5,000 metres in Athens will make up for his defeats in Atlanta and Sydney. And our medal predictor agrees that this time Hicham will stand atop the podium for a well-deserved gold medal. The predictions for the silver and the bronze medal are for Ukrainian athlete Ivan Hishenko to finish just in front of Kenyan runner Bernard Lagat. To 2012 news and security planning the dominant issue.
Under the current circumstances, I think security is always a major issue, you know, not just for the Olympic Games, but for any major international meetings or events. So I think the IOC itself, as well as the candidate cities, I believe would treat this issue as one of the main issue as well.
Paris, New York, Moscow, London and Madrid the accepted candidate cities to stage the Games.
I think in a way Athens is the first Summer Games after the 9/11. So I think the concern with or the need for security has been heightened. And it was reported that Athens is spending up to $1 billion in looking at security. You know, they have provided a huge sum of money to ensure securities of both athletes and those who are going to watch the games. And I think different cities would probably have slightly different sort of challenge. So I think, but again, I think this is something that has become part of the factors that would be considered.
TV rights for 2012 have topped $1 billion, making it a likely profitable event.
Yes, I think since the LA Games, I think the formula for running successful games, not just in terms of organization on the sports achievement itself, but also on the financial side has actually been significant. And I think the right model has sort of been developed. And for example, in the case of 2012, television right alone is slightly more than $1 billion. And I think this been major cities, there will be a lot of marketing opportunities. So I believe that the game for 2012 itself would also end up with a surplus. And I think what is also important is that the game also would bring about intangible benefits to the city. It will highlight the city to the world. It would create opportunities for the city to accelerate development of its infrastructure, for example.
The decision on who will host 2012 to be announced in Singapore on July 6 next year. Time now for us to end this edition, but remember to keep watching Return to Athens as we bring you the latest in the behind-the-scenes news and views in the lead-up to Athens 2004.